Hudson County View, live and uncut. I'm your host for What You See Is What You Get, and What You Don't Is Better Yet, John R. Hydus. And boy, we have a lot going on this week. I mean, not unlike most other weeks, but let's just get right into it. First of all, a huge story, I believe, out of Hudson County Superior Court. Former Bayonne Assemblyman Jason O'Donnell, who unsuccessfully ran for mayor in 2018, had a bribery charge against him dismissed. Particularly notable since this was a case filed by the New Jersey Attorney General's office, so certainly we're going to give you all the details on that. In another court matter that was actually in Bergen County Superior Court, though these days it's all the same difference since these courts are convening on Zoom, entered her first appearance for a drug driving allegation. That arrest happened on March 4th. Through her attorney, Michael Rubas, she pleaded not guilty to driving while intoxicated and careless driving, so we will give you the lowdown there as well. We're also going to talk about a lawsuit that we discussed the previous week that was involving an aide to Jersey City Public Safety Director James Shea, Mike Manzo, and that lawsuit actually has already been dismissed after just 8 days, something you don't see particularly often in Hudson County and beyond. So obviously we are going to tell you what happened there. And we're also going to talk about a lot of court action in the past couple days. We're talking about last week where the appellate court, the state appellate court, actually reinstated a lawsuit where a former Bayonne City Hall employee alleged that Mayor Jimmy Davis sent her sexually charged text messages. So that's been reinstated. Going to give you all the details there. And also today I am joined with County Commissioner Anthony L Romano. So we're going to have a chat with him right after we hear from our sponsors.
Cutting-edge surgical care is right here in Secaucus.
Robotic surgery is safer.
Shorter hospital stays.
Smaller abdominal incisions, the size of an M&M. Here at Hudson Regional, we provide world-class robotic surgical care.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunnelly Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunnelly Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
Hudson County View, live and uncut. John R. Hydus, and as I just mentioned a few moments ago, today I'm joined with County Commissioner Anthony L Romano. Stick, thanks for coming in.
John, good to see you as always.
Yes, same here. So let's start here. There's been a lot going on in public safety in Hoboken, especially in May. You know, we saw a couple of things that I don't think anyone really expected. We saw the retirement of Police Chief Kenneth Ferrante, who, of course, you had a chance to serve with on the force.
Good man.
And we also saw that Fire Chief Brian Crimmins was placed on administrative leave. So what are your thoughts on these two happenings in public safety in the Mile Square?
Well, Chief Ferrante has done a tremendous job in the Hoboken Police Department. And from what he's told me, and that it just was time. He felt he wanted to get on with his life and go in other areas. And also, it's a stressful job. And he's been on it constantly since the day he's been a chief. And I'm sure that after he rests and reinvigorates, I'm sure there'll be plenty of office for him for other positions. So that just something that surprised. But as I said, there's no any backroom problems there. It's just straight. A man wanted to move on. With the fire chief, just to the best of my knowledge, there's ongoing investigations by some of the subordinates.
All right. Now, every time we see a shakeup in the police or fire, or in this case both, there's always talk that the public safety director position will come back. Is that something that you'd be interested in the event that it is reinstated by the city?
Well, with the Faulkner Act, it's not that if you have chiefs, you can't have one, you can't have the other. For example, Jersey City's always had the public safety director and the chief's positions.
Yes.
And also the, and in other municipalities. So it's not as if you have one, you can't have the other.
Sure.
Obviously, it's, public safety and is always an interest. The police and fire are always dear to my heart. Office of Emergency Management, the ambulance corps, that all comes under that umbrella of, school resource officers, the housing authority. So it's always important in my life.
Gotcha. Well, glad you mentioned the ambulance corps. Today they're actually celebrating 50 years. So just tell us a little bit about what this organization's been able to accomplish in those 5 decades.
The ambulance corps is very close to my heart. It started 50 years ago. I was just out of elementary school when it started by people as Bill Matthews and others. They took a group of women and men that decided that they were going to take over the functions that previously the police department had done from the 40s, 50s, and 60s on transporting, and had the police department ambulance. And they started out in a garage, believe it or not, across the street from the Little League field, River Terrace. And it grew over the years to some really dedicated people that, I'm very attached to them, for they always were good to relatives of mine, my mom, my father, my aunt, my grandmother, whoever had to go to the hospital. They were always there. And I think that the hardest part now is, due to changing times, to finding the qualified volunteers to man the ambulance. That's their biggest biggest objective. Obviously, since a lot of the originals have either retired or passed on, it's something that has to keep growing, and hopefully, as we speak now, that people will gladly come and volunteer and get the necessary medical certification to be part of the Hoboken Volunteer Ambulance Corps. I will be there tonight. We're going to present them with a proclamation from the county for their 50 years, and I think that anybody out there, if you'd like to support the ambulance corps, it's a good cause to contribute to. And they just, right now, Tom Malta is a retired fire captain. He's the president. They have a board. I know that the mayor and the administration are trying to work with the ambulance corps to ensure that they're here for another 50 years. And their equipment is up to date, and they just do an all-around good job, John.
Now, of course, that's of no cost to the taxpayer. Again, as you said a few times, volunteer ambulance squad.
Yeah, the city pays, I think, for the insurance and things of that nature.
But in recent memory, the city has begun exploring, or perhaps they've already entered, I'm not really sure, to be honest, but a deal with McCabe Ambulance as well to supplement what they're doing. So what do you think about that development?
Well, the biggest concern is public safety. If anyone has to wait for an ambulance, that's a problem. So I guess there's certain times when there's gaps in their schedule where they need to be supplemented by another service, and to ensure that there's coverage. Obviously, that's in coordination. Again, I'm assuming I'm not part of the discussion, but the police and fire departments have a say also with regard to scheduling. Are we going to have an ambulance? And when Hoboken gets busy, especially on the weekends, you need more than one ambulance. When I was the night commander, we had the Hoboken Volunteer Ambulance Corps, servicing, and then they would have to take time either, when they were transporting or do the paperwork. So you always had the other ambulances as backup. At that time, we had the Liberty ambulances that were the backup. So it's always good to make sure for the citizens and the residents of Hoboken that they have coverage, so 24/7. And to the ambulance corps' credit, if they don't fill a spot, they advise the city that we don't, and the city then has this, as you said, it's passed, I assume, the supplemental coverage.
Thank you, Commissioner. We're not done yet, ladies and gentlemen, but we are going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hudson Regional Hospital, we promise to be prepared for your emergency.
We promise to provide world-class robotic surgical care.
We promise to treat you like family.
To provide accurate diagnostic care.
To provide the most innovative orthopedic care at your doorsteps.
We promise to treat your baby like our own.
To never stop investing in the best of spinal care.
To be with you every step of the way.
Here at Hudson Regional Hospital, we promise to take care of our community.
A brand new truck isn't just a brand new truck when it's tough enough to have best-in-class available payload and smart enough to know that a cab can also be an office. A truck equipped with best-in-class available towing that asks, why can't all that power more than just this truck? No, Your brand new truck isn't just a brand new truck when it's the all-new F-150. Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Hudson County View, live at Uncut. John R. Highness, and I'm still joined with Hudson County Commissioner Anthony L Romano. So, Commissioner, as you know, at the moment, Mayor Ball is running unopposed. Certainly, you gave it your best shot at 17. Did work out the way you would hope. Even an inkling of an interest of going back out there this time around?
You know, John, it's you don't realize until you're involved in what it takes. You definitely need the resources financially and the support of many outside elected officials and organizations. Labor is always important. And to have enough money to fund the campaign correctly and properly. And I think that at this point in time, no, because there's some I just got over some health concerns, so that's more important. And I'm enjoying being a county commissioner. It's a pleasure to represent Hoboken, Jersey City, and also support the other commissioners in their respective districts. And it was definitely a learning experience to run for mayor. You learn what it takes a lot, but it's important that you know that you stay involved. But I have to say that Mayor Bala has done, especially during this time with the pandemic, he's done a good job. You know, you can't take it away from someone when they do the right thing.
All right, very good. So we're talking primarily Hoboken. Let's get a little onto some county business. So, you know, the past few times we've spoke, especially at the tail end of last year, we were talking practically till we're blue in the face about the ICE contract and how the county's going to get out of it. And the past few meetings have been pretty tepid, I would say, by county standards. But it looks like now you guys are moving in a different direction to reach that goal of getting out of the contract by the end of the year. So first of all, tell us what the plan is for those that may be unfamiliar. And second of all, do you think that goal of getting out by the end of the year is attainable?
Well, first and foremost, for your knowledge and any of your listeners out there, the tally is down to around 30 detainees. And we are not taking any new detainees. And the executive branch will make the decision, since it's in their hands now, when we'll be getting out. But I think Tom and his staff has alluded to the fact that, excuse me, it's going to take place, you know, closer than farther away. So it's a possibility. We haven't got a confirmation yet, and I'm sure that county exec's office will let us know. But they're definitely aiming in a direction of phasing out in the immediate, not in the long term.
Now, at the last meeting, you were going to vote on a resolution. That was the resolution to take detainees from Cumberland County, was it?
No, no detainees.
I'm sorry, inmates from Cumberland County.
From Mercer.
Okay.
Mercer, or maybe it was Cumberland. I'm not sure which one it was. I think it was Mercer. Now that I remember, yes. That is a temporary situation until they do what they have to do to their facility. So that's not a permanent one.
Okay, but we could expect more of that in the future?
Well, there's, for example, Essex County just got involved with the Union County facility. Now
Right.
that's going to be united with Essex. And we were in negotiation with, there's a court case going on with, I think it's Mercer. I'm trying to get my Mercer. Yeah, that's Mercer, and Cumberland is the other one, I just said. So Cumberland's temporary. We're hoping for Mercer because they're closing their facility. And I think it's the lawyers and maybe one of the unions that we're in court with, that the county is in court with.
All right, so obviously we're going to keep our eyes and ears on that. Now, something that I think has went largely under the radar, the past couple meetings for the County Board of Commissioners, you guys had some interesting discussions about the Boys and Girls Club and who could use the basketball courts. So for those that haven't been following with an eagle eye, tell us what exactly is happening and how you guys can resolve this thing.
We for many years, even before I was a county commissioner, the Hudson County Board of Commissioners, along with the county executive, support a county-run basketball league through Gary Greenberg and the Boys and Girls Club, and we utilized the facility in I think it's in Jersey City. It's at Washington Park, Mercer Park. I'm not sure if Bayonne and Lincoln are part of that, but we also involved there, and in Hoboken. And what happened here now is somehow it's got in snarl. There's been one of the Housing Authority commissioners and one of the Hoboken Council people have felt that it's not inclusive. And by that I mean that usually when Gary runs the league, it's open citywide. It's open more than that. I mean, we take anybody from Jersey City because there's a closeness between Jersey City and Hoboken. It's technically our sister city, and if there's children near the border, we're not going to refuse them. It's a county league. If someone comes from Harrison and wants to play in Hoboken, you play. But it's mostly service the children in the housing authority area. And the councilwoman and the commissioner felt that, well, what about the other children? But it is open. So right now there's hopefully a resolution between Gary and the councilwoman, and to smooth this out where there is an interaction more or an interleague play, because Hoboken has their league, and we don't want a replication of effort. So hopefully we're going to get that resolved, but it is interesting.
So you're going to let them work it out before you guys take a vote on the matter, fair to say?
Yeah, well, yes, it's coming up, but we're not going to take the money away from the Boys and Girls Club. They've been there. We just want to ensure that there is inclusiveness, that everyone is allowed to participate in the league, and that's the wish of both the executive and the legislative branches of the county government.
Thank you, Commissioner. Always a pleasure.
No, it's an honor to be here as always, John.
Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. We're not done yet, but we are going to take another break. Be right back.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in 10 high-rise rental towers with amenities such as the on-site Newport Path subway, light rail and ferry service, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Sears, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams Supermarket is just outside your front door. A health and fitness club, spa, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. NewportNJ.com. Enjoy the New York skyline from Newport Town Square. Manhattan is just one path stop away or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Want to visit Newport? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. Go to NewportNJ.com for details. Newport has luxurious towers, great restaurants, shopping, New York skyline views, schools, playgrounds, a marina and yacht club, gym, spa, fine wine, fine living. It's incredible. It's you. NewportNJ.com. Newport, live like you want.
Hudson County View, live and uncut, John R. Highness. So as I said at the top of the program, let's talk about this breaking, unexpected story out of Bayonne. Technically, I guess it's out of Hudson County Superior Court, but it's about former Bayonne Assemblyman Jason O'Donnell. So as you guys know, back in December 2019, the New Jersey Attorney General's office charged 5 people by complaint summons, including O'Donnell, as well as former Jersey City Board of Education President Sudan Thomas, and 3 either former officials or former candidates for office in Morris County. And, this was basically a sting, a low-level sting, I guess you could say, from the AG's office. And typically they have an extremely high conviction rate, as many of you have seen and heard over the years. But in this particular case, it was very interesting. While most of the indictments had at least a handful of charges, Jason O'Donnell's only had 1. And that was actually bribery. And it was something that alleged that he accepted $10,000 from cooperating witness Matt O'Donnell, an attorney that's of no relation, between approximately February 1st, 2018 and May 3rd, 2018, in exchange to hiring him at City Hall if he was elected mayor. So, given that O'Donnell was not successful in that bid for mayor in 2018, we saw Hudson County Superior Court Judge Mitzi Galiz-Menendez rule that given that he was just a candidate and not an elected official, he therefore did not have the ability to follow through on his word, and therefore the allegations made in the indictment, which was filed back in February, are essentially null and void. Let me read you a direct quote from the judge here. And she said, "The court does not believe that the state has presented some evidence to the grand jury that the defendant received a benefit as a consideration for the performance of his official duties." Now, if that sounds familiar to you, especially my longtime Hudson County politicos, especially those that have been following way before I was around, in Operation Bid Rig back in 2009, former Jersey City Assemblyman Lou Manzo, even though that case was brought by the U.S. Attorney's Office as opposed to the New Jersey Attorney General's Office, it was essentially the same situation. So at that time, 2009, Lou Manzo was arrested in the sting for allegedly receiving $27,500 in bribes for his failed run for mayor. So, that obviously seems like a pretty serious allegation. However, given that he was just a candidate and was no longer an assemblyman and was seeking the office of mayor, it was, again, voided. U.S. District Court Judge Jose Linares, who has since retired, dismissed Manzo's case since he was not an elected official at the time, only a candidate for office. Now, I believe this is an extremely interesting situation, but if that didn't already pique your interest, what I found extraordinary is that the AG's office said they are going to be appealing this decision. I heard from Attorney General's office spokesman Peter Asseltine, and here's what he told me in an email. "We strongly disagree with today's decision, which, if upheld, effectively legalizes bribing candidates for public office. We do not think this is what the legislature had in mind when drafting this law, and we look forward to appealing this ruling once we receive the written opinion." So certainly this has taken a turn that many people did not expect at all, but this is one that we're going to follow in the coming days, weeks, and months, and we're going to see. But based on the precedent set by the Lou Manzo case, again, even though it was a different office, I think it's probably pretty safe to say that this looks good for Jason O'Donnell in the coming days. So with that, we're going to keep talking about what happened in court today, and we're going to talk about State Senator Sandra Cunningham, also of the 31st Legislative District, of course. And today was her first court appearance. Again, as I mentioned at the top of the program, that was in Bergen County Superior Court, though it's all essentially the same since they convene on Zoom. And it looks like this is likely to continue throughout a good portion, if not the entire summer. But that aside, you guys certainly recall that on March 4th, she was arrested for drunk driving. She hit 2 parked cars, and we have police body cam video of that. We posted on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook yesterday. But as you could see, as they're going to play that in the background for a moment, today, her attorney, Michael Rubas, Cunningham's attorney in the matter, entered the 2 not guilty pleas. And this is a session that only lasted maybe 10 to 15 minutes, no more than that. And he actually said that if they do go to trial, that they want to proceed in person. And other than that, we heard from the prosecutor in the case, which actually some added intrigue. Linda Schwager is also the mayor of Oakland, which is a municipality in Bergen County. And she said the discovery process hasn't gone very far. She said, apparently more people have discovery than I do. Because of the transferring of the case from one county to another county, I don't have full discovery. I don't even have the video. She's, of course, referring to the police body cam video, again, that we've uploaded to some of our channels that is playing in the background here. Now, that's obviously an interesting development in and of itself, but Rubas said that there's a significant amount of discovery. There was a blood withdrawal in this case. Remember, there was no breathalyzer issued. So there was a blood withdrawal, so therefore the New Jersey State Police will need to assist with the quote-unquote significant amount of discovery, as will the Jersey City Police Department, who handled the arrest, and the Hudson County Prosecutor's Office, who was basically safeguarding these records. You guys will remember that in March, a number of media outlets, including myself, filed a public records request for this from the HCPO. No such luck, it was denied. But then suddenly, last week, just before the Memorial Day holiday, the Hudson County Prosecutor's Office said that they were going to put it on a flash drive, and if you could come pick it up, it's available. So, an interesting development here. At the end of the day, we heard from Bergen County Superior Court Judge Anthony Galita, and he said that the matter will be adjourned for at least 30 days, but given what their calendar looks like, it'll probably be more like 6 weeks before the court reconvenes for a status conference. So with all that in mind, we're certainly going to follow this in the coming days and weeks, as I just said about the O'Donnell case, and we're going to take one more break. We'll be right back.
Pen & Pencil Properties, Jersey City. Shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces that address your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at penandpencilproperties.com. Pen & Pencil Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Stevens Jersey City Ford, located right off of NJ 440 North. Across the Hudson Mall is your one-stop for all your automotive needs. Check out Ford's latest models like the 2020 Ford Fusion with its stylish looks and hybrid options, or the unparalleled high-performance 2020 Ford Mustang. The 2020 Ford F-150 Raptor is ready for those rugged off-road terrains with trail control. Need a mid-sized truck for your towing and hauling? The 2020 Ford Ranger will deliver. The 2020 Ford Escape is a luxury SUV that was made for comfort and adventure on the go. Returning is Ford's legendary Bronco, which takes you back to the true meaning of off-roading. They are now available for pre-order in our showroom or on our website. Let us help you find your next vehicle. Stevens Jersey City Ford, 201-432-7272.
Hudson County View, live and uncut. John Arhitis. One major other court development that actually happened on Friday. So we're going to talk about Stacy Purcella, a former City Hall worker in Bayonne, and this lawsuit that was against Mayor Jimmy Davis and the city. So the Superior Court of New Jersey Appellate Division reinstated this, and basically they said the Superior Court erred in dismissing the case due to failure to meet discovery. While obviously they do not advocate this sort of thing, they said it was improper to dismiss the case with prejudice for this reason alone. So I'll read you an excerpt here. It was error for the court to find plaintiff failed to comply with her discovery obligations because she presented competent evidence, and then her counsel certifications, asserting she did not have any additional text messages on her phone and she could not access the message log. And that's appellate court judges Michael Oster and Francis Vanoia, and it was a very lengthy 41-page decision. So in case you guys may have forgot, I mean, it got dismissed well over a year ago, but she alleged that Davis sent sexually explicit text messages beginning in early 2013, long before he announced he'd be running for mayor. It ended in late 2014, about 6 months after he'd been in office, as we first reported in about mid-2017. So the text messages were certainly interesting. They said things like, allegedly, I would eat you alive, and well, I'll tell you to read the story, some other interesting things. Really quickly, just want to tell you another thing about now Jersey City. Just want to pivot briefly. There was a lawsuit at Hudson County Superior Court there, and this was a developer, Bashi Sugar is his name, and he filed a lawsuit alleging that Mike Manzo, an aide to Public Safety Director James Shea, abused his authority by revoking his 2 permits, but 8 days later, they've already resolved it. So John Novak, who's representing Sugar, said this was in order to show cause in a lawsuit for money damages. Kudos to attorney Phil Adelman, who represented Jersey City in the matter, who was a professional and a gentleman. We achieved an interim resolved in very short order, and there's no longer a need for an order to show cause, and therefore I withdrew the lawsuit voluntarily. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll catch you next week.